In a diplomatic turnaround that echoed through global markets, United States President Donald Trump backed down from his threat to impose massive 50% tariffs on goods from the European Union. This crucial decision, announced on Sunday, May 25, 2025, came just days before the tariffs were set to take effect on June 1, temporarily easing tensions in an already fragile trade relationship. The catalyst for this change, of course, was a telephone conversation, described by Trump himself as very nice, with European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen. This last-minute dialogue offered a postponement of the tariffs, opening a window for new negotiations and, for now, a protectionist escalation with unpredictable consequences.
The way the call was publicly characterized, especially by Trump after days of inflammatory rhetoric where he claimed talks were going nowhere, can be seen as a mechanism to save diplomatic face. It allows both parties to frame the de-escalation positively. For Trump, it maintains the image of someone open to reason when approached respectfully. For von der Leyen, it demonstrates a successful intervention. This type of language is fundamental in managing perceptions in international trade disputes, shaping future narratives and negotiating postures. The original tariff threat had indeed roiled global markets, and the immediate positive reaction of stock futures to the news of the postponement underscores the significant economic anxiety these threats generate. This is not just political theater. There are tangible and immediate financial consequences, demonstrating the high sensitivity of the global economy to U.S. trade policy, especially under an administration known for its volatile policy. Even the threat of tariffs functions as a significant economic disruptor.
The announcement and the new timeline.
Donald Trump's announcement of the postponement was disseminated through his Truth Social platform and in statements to reporters. In one of his posts, Trump stated, "I agreed to the extension, July 9, 2025. It was my privilege to do so."
This statement sought to convey an image of control and magnanimity.
On the other side of the Atlantic, European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen used the X platform, formerly Twitter, to confirm the good call with Trump. She stressed, however, the need for more time to reach a satisfactory agreement. To reach a good deal, we would need the time until July 9. Von der Leyen also reiterated the European bloc's readiness for dialogue, stating that Europe is ready to advance talks swiftly and decisively. Trump, in turn, noted that the Commission President said that talks will begin rapidly.
The new deadline for the imposition of tariffs was thus set for July 9, 2025. The choice of this date was not arbitrary. Crucially, this new deadline aligns with the end of a 90-day negotiation window that Trump himself had originally established in early April. The threat to impose tariffs on June 1 represented a significant escalation of that initial timeline. The fact that von der Leyen requested an extension specifically until July 9, and Trump agreed, can be interpreted as a carefully choreographed move. It allows Trump to present himself as magnanimous in granting the extension, while the EU, in practice, manages to bring the timeline back to the original, less aggressive framework. This suggests a tactical maneuver by the EU to anchor the negotiations despite American pressure tactics.
Additionally, the use of different social media platforms by both leaders to communicate this development illustrates a facet of modern diplomacy. Trump, on Truth Social, emphasized his agency and decision. "I agreed, it was my privilege." Von der Leyen, on X, focused on the need for time for a good deal and Europe's readiness. This real-time narrative management, aimed at domestic and international audiences, adds a layer of complexity to traditional diplomatic channels, where public perception becomes as important a battlefield as the negotiating table.
3. What was at stake? The threat of 50% tariffs.
The threat looming over transatlantic relations was of considerable magnitude. A 50% tariff on all imports from the European Union, announced by Trump on social media on Friday, May 25, 2025. This was not a surgical measure, but a comprehensive threat with the potential to paralyze vast sectors of trade. Trump's justification for such a drastic measure rested on several grievances. He claimed the European Union was very difficult to deal with on trade issues and that negotiations were going nowhere. A central point of his argument was the U.S. trade deficit with the EU, which in 2024 reached $236 billion in goods, a figure Trump considered totally unacceptable. Furthermore, Trump reiterated his view that the European bloc was created to take advantage economically of the United States. It is important to note here a fundamental discrepancy in the assessment of this deficit. While the US focuses on the goods deficit, the European Commission calculates a much smaller deficit of 50 billion euros, about $57 billion, when services are included, a sector where American companies are dominant. This difference in metrics fundamentally complicates negotiations, as the two parties start from different diagnoses of the problem's dimension.
The threat of 50% tariffs on all